of 1996. The administration has the responsibility under the Take Care Clause to enforce the Geneva Conventions, the Convention Against Torture, the Anti-Torture Act, and the War Crimes Act. In my opinion, the evidence at this point suggests that those conventions and those laws have been systematically ignored. I won't mention signing statements to any degree because I think the prior panel discussed that at length. You also have the misuse of executive privilege. This was another area, by the way, that was a basis for the impeachment of Richard Nixon. The improper claim of executive privilege not only subverts the legitimate operations of Congress, but it can rise to an impeachable offense when it is used to shield improper or illegal executive branch activities. Most recent example, an egregious example, is the refusal to provide to a House committee the FBI statements of Vice President Cheney's interview with them. There isn't even a colorable ground on which executive privilege can be claimed with respect to that statement. Deceptions with respect to the Iraq War. Others have talked about that. I believe very strongly that deceptions in connection with the war-making power subvert the Constitution of the United States. As many of you have alluded to just today, Congress plays an essential role in the war-making decision of the United States. It's in the Constitution repeatedly. When an administration deceives the Congress, it undermines the ability of the Congress to make a reasoned decision. And the decision about war-making is the most serious and grave and consequential one that the Congress can ever make. Those deceptions, I believe, are rampant. The real question before us is what is to be done. I don't think that this committee or this Congress can shirk the responsibility that the Constitution put in its hands. Of course, this is very late in the session of Congress, and the options are limited, but there are still options. I believe the remedy that the Constitution provides, and the one that is most appropriate in this situation, is an impeachment inquiry. Why? It would send the clearest signal of the constitutional limits on abuse of presidential power. It would also educate the public about the appropriate limits of executive power and the importance of checks and balances. And beyond that, it would also give those people in the administration against whom accusations are leveled an appropriate forum in which to respond, which I believe is the American way.
The witness's time has expired.
I thank the chair and the committee for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to associate myself with the words of my colleague from California. This is an enormously important hearing. It is creating a legislative and congressional record, and I'm so glad that Bruce Fine mentioned previous holder of this seat who really captured not only the sentiment of the Constitution, but really the hearts and minds of Americans when she reminded them, the Honorable Barbara Jordan, that this is an institution of we the people. And I would like to characterize my questions in the context of preserving the institutions that I think our founding fathers, in their wisdom and intellect, and the scholars that helped write the legislation, when I say that, self-imposed scholars, the Constitution, were very concerned about. And I think, Mr. Fine, your eloquent recounting of the elimination of His Excellency and Your Honor really do point to what America is all about, and that is the protection of the rights of simple people. And I don't say that in any negative terminology. And so I think it is important to note, if I might, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask unanimous consent to put into the record draft of H.R. 264, please.